But what we don't need is these capitalists in sheep's clothing.
If it looked like a nightclub in your pulpit, I'm not watching, honey. We keeping it, we turning it off.
Oh, so do y'all know, are y'all familiar with Pastor Keion? Pastor Keion is a pastor. He's also married to Shawnee O'Neal. So he's Shawnee O'Neal's second husband.
Oh Lord.
And he, I'm sorry, I'm getting triggered. Just when we mentioned the devil, woo! Lucifer herself. We're talking about Shawnee O'Neal. My fault. Shawnee O'Neal, bitch. We're talking about that trifling ass Keion. So Pastor Keion just went viral for making some very bigoted, problematic statements. And I just want to point out that this man is also married. I just want to say again for the third, fourth time, he is married to Shawnee O'Neal. So I think that definitely speaks volumes to her character. But we're going to play the clip and we're going to go ahead and digest. Here we go.
Due respect. Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the world. In fact, they say it is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. Have you ever wondered how in the world can Haiti share an island with the Dominican Republic? And you can go to the DR and turn up and go 70 miles in one direction and see a place where people are still dying from E. coli. Well, I'll tell you why. Because in the 1700s, when the African slaves came to the island of Haiti, and they introduced an idea called voodoo. And so we look at Haiti and we ask, why is it one of the poorest countries in the world? It is not because it is full of ignorant black people. They are as smart and as intelligent as you are, but there is a spirit. I say this with all.
More. There's more. I'm gonna play the other one and then we can unpack.
Y'all go to running and dropping money, but let me tell you something. The poor will be with you always, and there is no blessing connected to blessing the poor other than getting back what you gave to them, but no multiplication. Multiplication is segregated for tithes and offering. When you give to the poor, the only thing you do is help them, but you don't help yourself. So when you give $1 to somebody on the street talking about I did my job, God like, thank you, but it ain't gonna help you.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, so there's lots to unpack. I just wanted to say, so what he is describing is an aspect of this new modern day Christianity where they call it, like, I don't know the exact term, but it's pretty much like the more you give to the church, the more you'll be blessed. It's like a restorative faith, whatever, based practice. And of course they, they like manipulate and target poor working class people. As we know, in the South, it's nothing but liquor stores and churches in the South. So, it's nothing to do but get drunk and praise God. So praise white Jesus for that matter. And so that's exactly who he's targeting. And the fact, and I'm sorry, but it's the fact that he's married to that fucking terrorist, that social terrorist that is Shawnee O'Neal, that really got me. That woman that slid out 5 children, 5 big-headed ass children for that beast, and then said that she didn't even love him. It's like, girl, like, but that's the type of woman, but that's how your womanhood is set up. That you can lay up and slide and shit out 5 kids for a nigga that you don't love because it's just a business arrangement for you. She ain't shit. And now she done snuck out all of Shaq's money, and now she's trying to sneak out the church's money because millions and millions is just not enough for her. She's a fucking wealth hoarder, and she ain't shit. I'm done. Who wants to go first?
Honeybee, look, I'm tapped. What you got on this?
The part about Haiti having a spirit over it really fucks me up, because can you imagine like what the shamans and the root workers were up to, like while their people are being subjugated, like they're calling for the highest order of life to help them. Like they're calling the dead spirit, they're calling the live spirit, they're calling the earth mother, like they're calling spiritual deities from everywhere. And to say that there's a spirit on them when the spirit is white supremacy, like that's the only spirit on them
that's the only
causing them
spirit.
harm.
That's right. Thank you.
And they acting like that it was not an indoctrination. Let's be very clear. Who was the one that brought us to this? I don't want to say cult because I don't want to offend nobody here that's in the chat or whoever the case is. But I'm just saying, like, you know,
let's be clear. Again, I don't have an issue with Christianity. I have an issue with white supremacy, and Christianity, white supremacy would not be able to be successful without Christianity. Christianity is a very I can't even think of like the words, like it's an essential aspect of white supremacy.
It's the only begotten son of white supremacy. That's how someone described it.
Christianity is essential to white supremacy, and so that's the issue. But let's be very clear, like there are a lot of like Christianity it's not even like the original, you know, Christian like religion and shit. Like they took a lot of aspects there's a lot of aspects of Black culture and African American culture that is preserved within
repurposed, you know, whitewashed, all that under the sun.
And so that's the only reason why I still, you know, I have a Bible in my house and I still but let's be very, so that's why I want to be clear when you were saying like, oh, I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to offend anybody either, but we have to be real. Like we have to be honest. So let's be clear. I still pray to God every night, but I don't pray to no white Jesus. Okay.
Neither do I. Okay, let's be very clear on that. And just to inflict like your own views onto other like cultures, and it's just like these Black churches have gone to hell. If they ain't talking about this, then they talking about they complaining and bitching at they people for not buying them a new Rolex watch. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I just want to point out that this is the same Shawnee O'Neal who gaslit OG, a dark-skinned Black woman, and literally rolled her eyes and chucked her and kissed her teeth at the mere mention of colorism, as if colorism was such a crazy concept. And all this other shit. Meanwhile, here you have your husband, her second husband, making these blatantly colorist statements, comparing Haiti to the DR, which we know is like typically, even though there's a large Black population, we also know that there are also a lot of non-Black. It's like a colorism issue with Haiti and DR. So fuck Keion, Pastor Keion.
Yeah, and I'm actually gonna ask a question though, because is this like, what was the motive with this? Was he talking about, because is this in connection with the whole eating the dogs, eating the, you know, situation that Trump started that conversation? Is there where did he get this? Where did he get this conversation from?
To me, it feels like he is trying to let the church know that any kind of support and care that they give to each other is not going to help them in the spiritual kingdom. And that right there is very fascinating, because we are increasingly becoming more and more isolated due to the internet. And on top of that, we're increasingly becoming more and more disconnected from community care. Even though we're so connected, seemingly, we can see what everybody's doing. We're not doing it together. We're actually quite individualistic and lonely. And so him saying this is making sure that him and Shawnee still eat. Even if your neighbor is begging you for help, you're supposed to take a moment and say, you know what, God, I'm going to give this money to the church because me helping this person is not going to help me. And so it's really weaponizing like Christianity to turn it into a selfish mantra that he wants people to follow.
Let me just say this, right? Because, you know, I didn't grow up in the church, but like my family is definitely highly influenced by the church, Southern Baptist Christian Church. You feel me? My family's from the South, the Bible Belt, all that. And I can definitely say that, like, me personally, like, okay, for example, I don't want to tell certain stories because I don't want to put nobody's business out there. But like, I've heard of people, like, I know someone who's like the church came together to help them pay their light bill type shit. Like I've heard of places where You know, like if I didn't have nowhere to eat, but I always went to church because
Oh
church
yeah,
big ass plates. So don't get me wrong, this is not like church.
This is not every black church. Let's be very
right,
clear.
and the church community is needed within our community.
Yeah.
But what we don't need is these fucking capitalists in sheep's clothing. You know,
I'm not dealing. If it looked like a nightclub in your pulpit, I'm not watching, honey. We keeping it. We turning it off because I already know what's going on here. And then let's be clear. This, if somebody said this too, Haitians can't catch a break. I fear this is perfectly designed. This is perfectly designed.
Of course, the
what
rebels.
I was trying to get at in my original take was that it seemed like he quietly in support of a certain, you know, someone. You know, it's like 30 days away. People want to, you know, let the people know without actually saying it. You know, because Dr. Omar tried that shit too.
You think
we gotta get into him?
We can talk. Oh, I mean, if we have time, we can talk about
we got time. If we got time.
If we have time, we'll move on. We'll move on. Who's next? Did you want to talk about Darius Kirk, or can we talk about Ari Lennox real quick?